We sang just a bit ago, Lord, it is good that we give thanks to you. In fact, gratitude, thanksgiving, is at the very heart of the Christian disciple. It's actually at the very heart of the spirit of stewardship, which is so much present in your community. It's on a big sign, you can't miss it. Stewardship and evangelization. The very basis of stewardship is the recognition, actually, that everything that we have is actually a gift from God, and that we have to take care of it and sustain it and support it and give it life. I often think of that wonderful parable in the Gospel of Luke where the shepherd leaves the 99 and he goes in search of one. And that's pretty absurd, actually, to leave 99 who are safe and sound to go after the dumb one who got lost. When I was in parish work, my first parish, we used to take the 8th grade every year to New York for an 8th grade trip. And on one of these trips, when we got back from Liberty Island, where the Statue of Liberty was, we were back in Liberty Park, we counted and we were missing one kid. And the vice principal, who's one of my dear friends today, said, we're missing one. And my response to her was, well, that's not too bad. If this was a test, it'd still be an A. So leave him there, or her there. It's kind of absurd when you look at it. Why would the shepherd leave 99 and go in search of one? And I read once that the reason why the shepherd would do that is because that sheep did not belong to him. It belonged to the owner of the flock. And so he had to go back and find that sheep because it wasn't up to him whether he let it go or not, because that sheep didn't belong to him. He had to take care of that sheep. If not, he would lose his job when he went back and said to the owner of the flock, who would ask, so how did it go? And he would say, well, not too bad. I remember as a young priest, well, I'm still a young priest, but as a younger priest, taking a group of kids. I worked in the inner city, and we took a group of kids skating. And I had a busload of kids, and we went to the skating ring, and everything went well. But at the end, one of the people that were there said something really nasty and racial to one of the kids that I had on my school bus, and I'm watching this happening, and then I watched this kid take up a skate and throw it across and hit the guy in the face. And then a rumble instilled. So a big mound of bodies fighting each other, and finally we got them all in the bus and left, and when I got back, the pastor said, so how did it go? And I said, well, no one was hurt. I was scared because those kids didn't belong to me, right? They belonged to their parents. They belonged to the Lord. And so the spirit behind stewardship is that what we have at the end really doesn't belong to us. It is given to us as a gift. And everything that you and I have is actually a gift. And so, yes, Lord, it is good that we give thanks to you, because everything that we have is a gift. And when we as Catholics gather every Sunday to celebrate the Eucharist, actually the word itself, the most perfect, sublime prayer that we as a Christian community make, actually is the celebration of the Eucharist. And it isn't even our prayer. It is the prayer of Christ who offers his sacrifice to the Father, and we unite ourselves to that Paschal mystery. And we do it in a spirit of gratitude. Gratitude. While we understand that up here sometimes, other times we have a hard time with it because we human beings are a piece of work, you know? And so God hears the prayer of his people in Egypt as they're enslaved, and he sends them Moses, and he gives them these powerful signs, and then he opens wide the seas, and they walk through. You saw the movie, right? They walk through the middle of the sea, and they get to the desert, and they're grateful to God because God had freed them from slavery to the Pharaoh and through these powerful, powerful signs. But it wasn't long before they started complaining about the food. Interesting, right? It wasn't long. It wasn't long. And oftentimes when people complain to me, and they do, I often say one of two things. Either I say, so do you want a little cheese with that wine? Or I'll say, yeah, I understand. There are people riding their private Learjet right now complaining that the coffee's too cold. Because we just forget very quickly, right? But when we come here, yes, Lord, it is good that we give thanks to you. And the Eucharist, the word itself means thanksgiving, to be grateful. Because everything that you and I have, and when I say everything, I mean there is not one thing that you have that actually is completely your own. Not one thing. Not one thing. And I often talk about how, the houses we live, I lived in a row home in North Jersey as a kid, and my parents called that their house. In fact, I did for half my life. It wasn't really their house. I came to really grow up and understand that at the time, it wasn't their house. In fact, for many of you, where you came from today and you call your house, it's not your house, I hate to tell you. For many of you, it's owned by Chase. Really. And if you're not sure about that, don't pay your mortgage for a few months. And you will quickly understand that it was really never your house. But we live that illusion, right? We just live that illusion, and that's fine and gets us through our life, but it's an illusion. The fact is that everything we have is a gift, and so yes, Lord, it is good. It is a good thing that we recognize that and we give thanks to you. And so today you give thanks for this parish community founded 70 years ago. 70 years ago. 1949 was it, I believe? And your school? So who was here 70 years ago when it was founded? Anybody here? 1, 2, 3. Who else was here? So there's 3. Can the 3 people that were here 70 years ago when this place was founded, please stand up? Give them a round of applause. 4. You see, all of you who sit in this beautiful church built in 2002, it's a beautiful church, and you come here hopefully every Sunday, in and out, and you walk out. Hopefully you don't complain about one thing or another. I was at my last parish where I was pastor in outside of Philadelphia. I remember standing in the back of church, and when you're standing in the back of church greeting people, there are basically 3 categories of people, right? The vast majority walk right by you, right? Just walk right by you. Then there's another category a little smaller group that actually come and say hello, right? And then there's always the person that has a beef about something. And that's when they're going to get you. And you could see them coming like a missile. Out of the corner of my eye. You could always see them coming. And one guy, I remember, said to me, "There is a light out by the Blessed Mother altar." And I said, wow. There were like 50 lights actually there. There was one bulb that was out. And I thought, my God, out of all the things that this human being could possibly choose to say to me, could have said, "How are you feeling today? Thank you for being alive. Thank you for becoming a priest. Good homily, but too long." You know, could have said many, many things. Chose to tell me that there was one bulb out. I didn't know what to say. Yes, Lord, it is good that we give thanks to you. So give thanks to these 4 people because they represent the people that gave you as a gift what you have as a gift now. The pews you sit, the church you worship at, the community that was founded, that received a mission from the church, and the pastor who was here at the time. They represent that group. And that group gave you a gift. Because they, somewhere along the line, in another parish, were given a gift. And now it's up to you to give a gift, right? Everyone plus one, your big banner says, right? Outside, everyone plus one. Evangelization. To give as a gift what you have received as a gift. Because it will depend on you as a parish community who's here at the 100th, 30 years from now. It will depend on you as a parish community who's here celebrating this gift and giving thanks to God for this beautiful gift of your parish 100 years from now. When this parish, when this parish is double that, 140 years. Many of you might not be here, right? There might be a few, the kids, and then when the bishop then, I'm not going to be here either, so when the bishop then comes here to celebrate your 140th, he might ask, is there anybody here that was here when you celebrated your 70th? And some of these kids might stand up, representing you. Lord, it is good that we give thanks to you. So thank God today for the gift of this parish. And I'd like to leave you with a little reflection of what is actually a parish. And it comes from Pope Francis. I read it at all anniversaries of parishes. What exactly is this animal we call a parish? What's it for? And this is what he says. Listen closely. The parish is not an outdated institution, precisely because it possesses great flexibility. It can assume quite different contours, depending on the openness and the missionary creativity of the pastor and the community. While certainly not the only institution which evangelizes, if the parish proves itself capable of self-renewal and constant adaptivity, it continues to be the church, in capital letters, living in the midst of the homes of her sons and daughters. I love that phrase. So as I drove here today, I drove by your homes. I didn't know exactly which one was yours, but I drove by the homes. And in the midst of these homes, where you live and you make your life day in and day out with your ups and downs and sideways, lies the presence of the church in capital letters. The mystical body of Christ, his mystical presence. He says this presumes that it is really in contact with the homes and the lives of its people and does not become a useless structure out of touch with people, or a self-absorbed group made of a chosen few. Ouch. He always has a way of... The parish is the presence of the church in a given territory, an environment for hearing God's word, for growth in the Christian life, for dialogue, proclamation, charitable outreach, worship, and celebration. In all its activities, the parish encourages and trains its members to be evangelizers. It is a community of communities, a sanctuary where the thirsty come to drink in the midst of their journey, and a center of constant missionary outreach. A sanctuary where the thirsty come to drink in the midst of their journey. So thank God for the gift that you have in this parish. Make sure you take care of it well, because it's not yours. It never was. It never was. It's a gift given to you for a while that people, as you saw today, help give to you. Make sure that with a grateful heart, you continue to give on as a gift what you received as a gift. Have a great day.